Welcome to Flowerette Makes a Marigold. Step 1. Unbox your Flowerette kit. Get your kit through the link in the description. Inside you'll find everything you need in order to complete one standing marigold. That includes the stem, paper for sepals, one threaded rod for your base, the support base for the flower head, and 6 rolls of crepe paper in various shades. If you make this at home without buying our kit, you will buy 3 rolls of paper and simply cut them in half. You will also need a 6-inch garden spike, a 4-inch round of cardboard, 2 paper plates, some heat shrink tubing, some green paper for the sepals, and a hot glue gun and some glue sticks. And of course your paper. This paper is 10 inches long. As you can see, it was originally a 20-inch roll of paper, merely cut in half. Begin by unrolling your paper. Meet the ends and fold it in half. For this tutorial, I'm cutting the paper in half here to reduce the bulk. This will allow you to create this flower with regular craft scissors if you do not own heavy-duty craft scissors. You can see the blue are regular scissors, and the red are heavy-duty ones. We will take 1/2 of the paper and set that to the side. Working with the other half, we will meet the ends again and fold it in half once, twice, 3 times. Add your binder clip at the bottom of the paper. This will be included in your kit. Because I have many binder clips on hand, I have gone ahead and done this step with all of the paper. If you only have one binder clip, you may want to do this one piece of paper at a time. The next step is to cut the petal shape. I'm just going to start about 1.5 inches in from the outside of the paper and begin cutting up at a steep angle. Once you reach the edge of the paper, curve your cut in towards the middle. Flip your paper over and do the same thing on the other side. This does not have to be perfect. A marigold has very many petals with ruffled edges, which will disguise any imperfections. You can also refine the edges as you go along. Here you can see me cutting off the scraggly parts that I do not want. If the idea of freehanding your petal is stressful, never fear, I have included templates in the caption below. Here's what it would look like to use the template. I'm going to use another binder clip to hold this template into place. If your template is long enough to be clipped into the binder clip at the bottom, then go ahead and do that. Going to do the exact same thing, begin cutting at a steep angle around the template. Once I get to the top, I'm going to switch my binder clip to the other side. It's easier to begin from the bottom and cut up and around than it is to make a full circumnavigation of the template. You will probably still have some scraggly bits after using the template, so once you remove it, go ahead and check for those and refine any pieces that you'd like to cut off. Here is what the template and the freehand petals look like side by side. Almost exactly the same. The next step is going to be cutting your sepals. Take your green paper, your binder clip, and your scissors. Fold your green paper in half. In half again. 3 times. 4 times, really until it's about the size that you want it to be. There is less exactness when it comes to sepals. You can clip it on the side or the bottom, but I prefer to just hold it. You want to get a nice curve at the bottom and then angle in towards the middle of the paper to create a teardrop shape. Having rounded sepals seems like a small detail, but it prevents an angular look at the bottom of your flower, which breaks up the organic shapes created by the petals. Go ahead and clean up any edges that are not exactly how you would like them to be. And there we are. If you are not using our pre-made kit, the next step will be to assemble the support base for the flower head. Step 1 is to cut the tines off the garden spike. You can do this with a regular pair of scissors, although I am doing it with my heavy-duty scissors here. Next, pull out your heat shrink tubing and cut a piece that is about the length of your garden spike. You will also want to create a hole in the middle of your cardboard circle. Next, push your spike through, then remove it. Add some hot glue to the back of the spike. Pop the circle of cardboard back down and push in order to secure. Next, poke a hole in the center of one of the paper plates. Add glue to the back of the cardboard circle. Then slide the paper plate down onto the circle. It is important that the paper plate be upside down relative to the spike in the circle, as this will contribute to the overall shape of the marigold. Next, add hot glue to the top of the circle and press the other plate down on it. Then add a line of glue inside the 2 plates in order to hold the edges down. I do it this way because my hot glue gun cannot output enough hot glue in order to do the entirety of the plate in one go. If you have a heavier duty hot glue gun or multiple hot glue guns, you might be able to add all of the hot glue to the top of the plate before you add the second one. Next, take the heat shrink tubing that we cut before, open it up, and slide it down onto the garden spike. You will want to use a heat gun in order to heat shrink this tubing. A hairdryer on high heat might be able to achieve this, but it'll probably take a little bit longer. This is what a completed support system looks like. Now back to the petals. I will be using this container to hold my petals, but this is not necessary. Begin with one petal. Add a line of hot glue near to the bottom. Scrunch and pleat the petal up with your fingertips, then press flat with a silicone mat or a piece of parchment paper. It is important that this part be pressed flat in order for construction to go smoothly later. Repeat this process with all petals. You can also use your binder clip to hold the petal as it cools. It just might take a little bit longer to get all the petals completed if you are waiting for it to cool to use the binder clip. We'll do one more petal, line of glue at the bottom, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch with your fingertips, and then press flat. And see, you can take the binder clip off. Sometimes it sticks to the glue. Just give it a gentle pull, and it should come right off. What do you do if you have petals that are still attached? Simply open them up and cut them apart. You can fix any pointy parts that might have occurred from doing this, but you don't have to. Once you've completed all of your petals, it'll look a little like this. The next step is to shape them. Take a petal and gently cup with your fingertips, and then pull the top edge to give the ruffled effect. We're going to do that again, and you can see that you must be gentle in the middle. Do not pull all the stretch out, as that will create lines across the back of your petal, when what we want is a smooth, rounded cup. One more time. You will take your petal. It can face in any direction. It doesn't matter which side the glue is on. Gently cup and then pull at the top for the ruffle. I'm going to do this in batches in order to keep my workspace tidy, but you can do them all at once if you wish. The next step is to begin assembly. I've put a bowl underneath the support of the flower head in order to elevate it so that I can get the petals onto the support without squishing them down on the table. Begin with the color that you would like to be on the outside bottom of your flower. We are going to put all of this on the back. Add glue to the bottom of your petal and press it into the edge of the plate. The flatter your petals are, the easier this part is. The cup will face down, and then the cup on the next one will face up. Give me a moment to add some more so you can see what I mean. Face down. Then the cup will face up. Adding a little bit of glue there where I didn't quite get enough to get the edge down. And you're going to do this all the way around. Let me turn it around so you can see that they are alternating in the direction in which the cup is facing. Up, then down, up, and then down. Once you have finished the first layer on the back of your flower, you're going to go ahead and do a second layer, continuing with the alternating cups. That one is down, this one is up, down, up. They might not always hold the cup shape, but that is okay. at the end, it was going to give the correct effect. Add in any additional petals you might have left over, and then go in with your sepals. You're just going to put some glue onto one side of the sepal and press it in. Place your sepals all the way around in order to cover up the support underneath. Flip your flower over and remove your bowl. This is my favorite tool in my studio, a jar of rice. I'm going to stick the spike into the jar of rice to hold it so that I can work on the top without crushing the bottom petals. And here's what that looks like from the bottom. You're going to continue this pattern on the top of the flower. So glue on the back, cup up, and then cup down. I'm adding a little glue here on the edge of the plate to ensure the petals touch each other between the top and the bottom layers. This prevents the plate from peeking out between the layers. This might seem frivolous, but when viewed from this side, the white becomes very obvious from between the petals. Once you have made your way around, continue placing petals, again repeating the up-down pattern. I have used up all the previous color and am now on to the next. Started with down, and then I'm going in with up. You will place these petals slightly closer into the center every time you start a new layer. Going to go all the way around with this layer as well. Just keep spiraling into the center until you use up all your petals. On to the final color. Glue on the back and place it down. This is a lot of petals for the amount of real estate on the plate, so you can be sure to place the layers quite close to each other. This also contributes to the density of the flower. It also helps to cover up all of the plate so that it's not visible when we get to this stage. The last few petals have been folded up at the bottom where they attach to the plate in order to make them stand perpendicular to it. The final step is to tack the edges of the petals into place to keep them exactly where you want them to be. All you have to do is determine where you would like the petals to touch, add a small amount of glue, and then press them together. You see down here, one of these petals keeps wanting to fold in, and I don't want that. So I'm going to add some glue down at the bottom near to the plate and press them in together. You may find that you need to tack the top edges of the petals or merely just the bottom of the petals. You want to make sure that you don't tack them too aggressively, as this will compromise the movement of the flower and it will make it look far too stiff. Once you are happy with your flower, go outside and enjoy her. Find a link to our kits in the caption below, as well as links to the materials that I use. Original background music was composed and produced by my brother. Drop a comment if you should start a Spotify. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.